Alright, welcome back to More Than Peaches Gaming. I'm your host, Mune, and today we're talking a bit about Neverwinter and what's been going on. Uh, the clip you're seeing here is from April 1st. As you kind of see, we're all just kind of screwing around with the joke mount that they did. In my opinion, I thought it was a horrible idea. It really threw a lot of people off, and we're just doing some Dragonflight. But so you can watch that, and hopefully it'll be interesting. But this isn't about Dragonflight. This isn't about Cryptic's decision to use the joke of this mount. But what this is that this is an honest discussion about what's happened to the game and why I myself am no longer with the game. So that's why this video is a bit old, because I have since quit the game as of about a week and a half ago. And as you can kind of see, my inventory was pretty barren. So, so what led up to this, and why did I decide to leave? Well, the first reason why I decided to leave was because of the lack of content. It was a long journey going in, and I got tired of being deprived of content. It was a very difficult decision for me to make, as I had put in hundreds of hours playing this game. In addition to that, Mod 15 was very lackluster. Okay. I thought it was a horrible addition to the game, and with their announcement of Mod 16 raising the level cap, which I kind of like the idea of the level cap, but changing basically how the entire game works and how certain things are addressed when they come into play into Mod 16. I didn't feel like I was going to be adequately enjoying the game. Okay, and for those that are unaware, I did play the game on preview. I took a look and see what happened, and one of my major concerns was the fact that they changed stats up, and there was very little way to actually prepare for the changes, mainly because of the way that they were adjusting things. I had gear that just simply changed stats from Mod 15 to Mod 16. I mean, I would have something that would give me like power and like defense and let's say crit strike or lifesteal, and instead of having like the power, defense, and that other stat, yeah, I understand that the third stat would change, but then it would also change my defense stat that was on the gear to something else. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. Defense wasn't removed from the game, but yet you're changing my defense stat on my gear. I don't think that's a good idea. That's not really fair to people who have gear and they get gear with stats with the intention of actually using them for that purpose. So I was very upset. The second thing was that there has been very little feedback taken into consideration when it comes to actually not putting this content out. And I heard a lot of people on PC saying, well, the content really has not changed. The fact that they're moving forward with these major changes with full disregard of people basically saying, well, this is going to kill your game, they just weren't listening. And I felt like having a company that doesn't listen to player feedback is not a good company to be making games. Okay? And I'll be perfectly honest with you. There has been a long outstanding number of problems with this game that have still not been addressed. Or when they are addressed, they get fixed and then they break again shortly after. Sometimes it's like a few weeks. Sometimes it's a few months. With little to no actual progression of dealing with the problems once and for all. And that's why I was very upset with the company as a whole with this decision. Another reason that I'm also that I also left the game was because the sheer lack of players already in it. Um, I'm in an alliance, or was in an alliance, uh, that was fairly full, and at any given time, I'd be online, and there might be one or two people on per guild. Okay? And that says a lot about the guilds that were in there, but this was not an issue a year ago. This was not an issue back in August. Okay? What happened was we did get hit with the whole Bandgate thing, where a lot of players who participated and some that did not in the hunt glitches of Barovia were straight up, banned. I don't know how long they were banned for, but they were removed from the game temporarily or permanently, and the players just said, enough is enough, I quit. So we lost a lot of players due to that because they those players thought it was unfair that Cryptic was taking disciplinary action for a mechanic, as I would put it, if not a glitch, that was in preview and was told about it, was on PC and was told about it repeatedly, and made its way to console and still was not fixed. So this is a major issue. And then they went and they disciplined people and punished them for doing such a thing. Now, the reason why I'm so upset about this one, though, is because not everybody was disciplined the same way. Not everybody was even disciplined. Not everybody that participated in it was punished in any way or form. And there were some players who had never even been to Barovia and never been part of these hunt glitch parties. And hadn't even been playing the game that got banned because of it. We don't know why. Whatever. Okay? I'll be straightforward with this. I was one of those players. I was in a party. I did the glitch plenty of times. I got absolutely no repercussions against me. My AD wasn't hit. I didn't lose any items. I didn't get temporarily suspended at all. Okay? That's why I was so upset about it. Okay? Is because under the circumstances that they gave, I should have been disciplined in some way or form. Okay? But I was not. And I know several other players that were also not. Okay? But I also know some players who were permanently banned who had never even played the game. Like, in like the last 6 months. Players who had unknowingly been in one of those groups and immediately left. Those guys got banned. And some of those individuals also had their AD taken. So totally not a fair thing. And I would say if I would have known this earlier, I would have simply called them out on this and said, not cool, Cryptic. Not cool at all. Okay? So those are the big reasons why I'm leaving. Okay? Mod 16 and the massive amounts of players that just aren't in the game anymore. And I hear stories about suspecting that Mod 16 will bring new players and it'll be greater and better than before. And I'm over here, I'm like, no, I'm simply done. Okay? In addition to that, there's also a major other issue that Cryptic also doesn't seem to really realize. Their economy is completely screwed in the game. And I've been over this many, many a times with other players. I think I've mentioned it in previous videos. But the main reason why Zen, the Astral Diamond Exchange, is usually maxed out and with a large queue, and I know this isn't just on console, but this is also on uh, PC, and it's even bigger on PC. Is because of the wide array of sales in the game in the Zen market, the drop rate of coupons in the game, and no other incentives to actually try to fix the issues. With this, mainly it's getting people to queue up for the exchange, but it's not having them queue up for actually putting money into the game. Okay, you're not incentivizing players. Okay, and the most strategic way to actually get players to spend money in your game is not by having sales. Okay, it's by giving them a reason to actually buy, and it does not have to be through those means. Okay, they need to be for, how do I put it, things that people want. And for the longest time, people wanted cosmetic stuff. Okay, people wanted the best cosmetic stuff that they can get, some variety, deck out their characters. They don't care that much about becoming super powerful in the Zen market. Okay, yeah, you get an item and then who knows, 6 months later it could be a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, or they don't need it anymore. But you sell them something like cosmetic stuff, that's going to be with them. They're going to recommend that, and a lot of players want that. Okay, look at other free-to-play models that are out there. Like, I don't know, Fortnite. Fortnite's a really good example. Fortnite doesn't have any, oh, you could buy this for super power-ups or a chance for super power-ups. No, no. Like, their entire business model is over cosmetic gear. Okay? People want to look good in the games. That's just how they play. Okay? And it's a major spending habit. And if you know the history of any of the microtransactions that have ever gone on in video games, including DLC, you would know that the very first DLC to a game was purely cosmetic. It was the Armored Horse from, I believe it's one of the Elder Scrolls games. So, I don't remember which one right off the top of my head. I think it's Skyrim, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that people are willing to pay that. Okay, they're willing to shell out a little bit of money for that. Okay, the loot box system, in truth, it is kind of flawed. But yeah, it is fun to open up lock boxes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it is fun to open them up. But the problem is that a lot of casual players, the only way they can even get their hands onto a key to open up the lock boxes is either by buying VIP or by buying keys via Zen Market, and both avenues are Zen Market related. So when you have that system, the only logical way of actually getting Zen is by using real money or trying to use Astral Diamond Exchange, which is incredibly frustrating. Okay, especially when it's constantly capped out. The Astral Diamond Exchange is constantly capped out. So it's a real pain in the butt. And then some players are like, oh, I have like 3 years worth of VIP left, and I don't want to spend my Zen on any like keys or anything like that because it's just a waste of money. And so they're just sitting on Zen. They don't know what to do with it. Okay? There's no incentive to actually spend it. Okay? And I know in Mod 15, they did give us some cosmetic stuff finally. But you also have to think about that. That's 15 modules in. Okay? By then, you've already lost most of your player base. Okay? And that's the biggest problem, is we have this system in play where people don't really want to stick around. And I know players that just simply log on, get their daily key, and they don't even do anything else. They might do like their first invoke, and that's it. They'll log back off, and that's what they do for the day. That's it. They don't play, and that is simply how they run, which is kind of disappointing, because then you have an instance where your players aren't really playing. You know, it's sort of like having people invest in your company, and then from time to time they'll stop in and pick up a check. Like they don't actually work. You know, they don't actually invest because they've accrued so much wealth in the game already, and they don't know what to do with it. So, in other words, they're bored. They're bored. There's nothing for them to do, and there needs to be more content. Oops, sorry. Uh, so for that reason, I have officially left Neverwinter. I don't think I'm ever coming back. This has been a disaster. Okay, I'll go play something else. I don't know what I'm going to go play yet. I've been talking to some other colleagues about playing other games, but because of how hectic my life is right at the moment, I don't know if I will. Um, Mainly because uh, the people who play these games, they typically play on weekends and evenings, and I'm just I'm generally booked on the weekends. Let's just put it straight. I work on weekends uh, because that's just the line of work I do, uh, and some evenings. So, and right now I also work days. So working two jobs and doing that keeps me relatively busy. Um, and unfortunately, some people are like, well, it won't take you that long to catch up in MMOs. Yeah, maybe, but I'm running into the same problem. Whereas I'm going to put so much time into something, I want to get something out of it. And I mean more than what I got out of Neverwinter. Because Neverwinter, I feel like I worked my butt off for about 2 years. Mind you, I did take a few month break back in 2017. And that's just kind of how it is. Will I go and play a different MMO? We'll have to wait and see. The ones that have come to mind uh, that I might go try, I might go try something like Final Fantasy XIV, Realm Reborn. I don't know. I heard a lot of really good things about it having a pretty good community, and there not actually being a lack of players. Problem is that I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I've only played the closed and open betas for Realm Reborn, and I got incredibly frustrated, mainly because I was playing most of it solo. But a lot of it had to do with how quickly I was getting through content and not getting very good rewards. I felt like I wasn't making much headway for the amount of time I was putting into it. And I know that's how MMOs work. Um, so it just works like that. So, man. Also, if you want to see a really cool trick, check out what's going on the screen. Uh, I'm just standing in the pillar of light for Marauders while I'm setting up. This will happen to you if you're actually doing this. If you stand in the pillar before the crates have arrived, when the crates finally do arrive, you'll be teleported elsewhere. So, Really weird thing. And there's lots of little things in Neverwinter if you ever get a chance to kind of go back in. Nothing against the players that currently play it, you know, but I couldn't stick with it. I got bored. And I know that, like, the Tales of Old was coming out. I had little to no interest with that because people get burnt out playing a dungeon like twice. I don't know why anybody would want to do it more than that. See, teleported. I didn't even do anything. Alright. Hopefully this was kind of informative and giving you more of a reason. And the problem is that you'll probably run into other players that are in similar boats where they will just simply want to quit the game because of these reasons. And honestly, I don't hold it against them. Okay, I left, but I didn't leave without completely dedicating myself to my guild as well as those that helped me out. So, and as you saw, my inventory was empty. That means I literally sold everything on my character, uh, with the exception of like my enchantments and rune stones. Uh, so sold it for 80, and then I took the 80 and more or less donated it to another player, and then I just put all my enchantments and rune stones in my guild bank. So I didn't really have anything else to do with it all, so I was like, well, whatever. That's the end of that. And some people think I might have been foolish for that, because what if I want to come back? I'm like, I'm not coming back. And this isn't the first time I quit. I know the last time I quit, I did basically the same thing. But here's the thing. Guildhall is ranked 20. Structures are all pretty much maxed out, with the exception of like the support structures for the production structures. So, and the PvP structures. So, kind of boring there. And unfortunately, my guild has been having major problems keeping it going. So, literally only like 5 people actually donating to the coffer. So, because that's all we could get online, really. And it just wasn't moving very quick. So, it has been one heck of a battle, and being a co-guild leader has definitely drained me. I don't know if I'll ever become another guild leader, mainly because, yeah, it's so much responsibility. It's kind of like being a manager at a business, except for instead of you actually like being like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun, we're all gonna work together, and this is gonna be amazing. You have to do things like deal with drama, deal with problems between your guild and other guilds, deal with people who have issues with each other, dealing with petty things like um, guild recruitment, you know, uh, making sure everybody's on the same page, you know, and then managing resources. Okay, like in this game, you have to manage the uh, production structures, which I thought was rather tedious. I really wish they would have had a system in place where the production structures just automatically donated straight into the coffer instead of having to go to each structure and go and hit the button for tend. Okay, I thought that was really redundant, really dumb. Okay. I honestly think also that if you build something like that, yeah, they should just go automatically in. And I'm talking about even temporary structures, like the ones that like produce influence and gems and stuff like that. Yeah, those should just automatically go in. So, if anybody at Cryptic is actually watching this video, I really hope that you take some of these things into consideration. You know, um, I would say instead of really trying to push out this brand new system, fix what's already broken. You had a great game for the most part. I mean, you still haven't fixed the Guardian Fighter Survivor Wraps, glitch, but hey, whatever. We're not gonna condemn you for it, you know, because in PvE it's fine. In PvP it's not fine. Okay? And I honestly think that there should be more of an emphasis on actually informing your player base, maybe during the tutorial or something, that the game isn't about who's got the biggest stick, the biggest amount of damage on the leaderboards. And honestly, I would say just get rid of the leaderboards, honestly, because the leaderboards make it a competition. Okay, you don't need to make playing an MMO a competition. I know some people are curious, but maybe instead of doing that, maybe you should put something in a combat log, and you could set it up for the beginning of something or the end of something, or like beginning of a dungeon, end of a dungeon, beginning of an event like Dragonflight, the end of it, for a personal thing, okay? But not showing other people's damage, because that would really help out a lot of players. It would make it so that it's not a competition. You would have people who would actually care about mechanics a little bit more and wouldn't try to, die in the process, because we get a lot of players that already do that. Okay, it's like you guys almost were taking a cue from that World of Warcraft player, Leroy Jenkins. You know, not everybody wants to be the top of the leaderboards. Not everybody is gonna try to do this crap. And unfortunately, all the leaderboard does is incentivize that type of behavior. So I would say get rid of it, honestly. But all in all, this is my farewell to Neverwinter. And for everybody who's been tuning in to my Neverwinter videos, I'm sorry that this is such a long one, and I'm sorry that there probably will not be any more in the future. I'm probably going to move on to some other game. I have not decided again what game that's going to be. I want it to be something interesting, but who knows how that'll work. I am a very avid fan of RPGs, so it more than likely will be an RPG. I just don't know which RPG. And I know some people have even asked me to do something with Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm just going to tell you right now, I've already finished Kingdom Hearts 3. I already got my Platinum Trophy for it and everything. And the only thing that I have not done in that game is beat the Ghost Pirate ship in the South Seas. So, yeah. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But for those that do, I've tried several times. I still can't do it. I probably should use a different ship, but we'll see what happens. So, aside from that, thank you all for watching. I know this was a very long video. Again, thank you for everybody who's been supporting me by subscribing and liking my videos. And if you want to, could you please leave a comment if you do play Neverwinter or have played Neverwinter, the reason why you stayed if you're still playing, and if you have stopped playing it, maybe the reason why or reasons why. Maybe you have a more heartfelt story than me, because honestly, I'm kind of curious what people thought about sticking with the game through its big transition. Because I personally don't really condone what's going on with it, and that's why I quit. So, thank you again, and this has been Mune with a Neverwinter video.